Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is Cool News at 6. I am Cairo, and we are live on Cool FM and News Radio 93.1, where we share some latest news headlines that care for you. Let's begin with our headlines. The Department of Justice on Wednesday maintained that the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte followed protocols which ensure due process and the protection of his rights. The DOJ made the pronouncement a day after Duterte was arrested and sent to the ICC in The Hague, Netherlands. The DOJ said Duterte's arrest was conducted in a peaceful and orderly manner. There were no incidents of resistance and or disorder during the process, demonstrating the professionalism of our law enforcement agencies and the commitment to upholding due process, DOJ spokesperson Miko Calavano said in the statement. The former president was treated in accordance with the law, and all procedural safeguards were observed to protect his rights, he added. Silavano also assured the public that after Duterte's arrest, DOJ prosecutors were present to observe due process and attest to its legality, ensuring that the arrest complied with local and international standards. Meanwhile, Calavano also stressed that the country remains a member state of the International Criminal Police Organization Interpol, adding that Filipino law enforcement agents acted on the arrest as a matter of comity and mutual cooperation in the international community. Interpol has played a crucial role in many cases pursued by the DOJ involving subjects who have fled the country in attempts to evade accountability, said Silvano in the same statement. It is through Interpol that we are able to solve crime on a global scale, a trend that the Philippines has fallen victim to in many ways. Thus, cooperation with Interpol is imperative, he added. Silvano also cited Section 17 of Republic Act No. 9851, or the Philippine Act on Crimes Against International Humanitarian Law, Genocide, and other crimes against humanity, which states that the country may surrender suspected or accused persons in the Philippines to the appropriate international court for crimes punished by the said law, including crimes against humanity. The DOJ's remarks align with the previous explanation of President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr., who stated that while the government does not recognize itself to be a part of the ICC's jurisdiction, the Philippines has to comply with its commitments to the Interpol. Duterte was arrested and sent to the ICC amid an arrest warrant against him for the crimes against humanity he allegedly committed during his administration's bloody war against drugs. Meanwhile, a day after former President Rodrigo Duterte's arrest, there is still no word on the whereabouts of re-electionist Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa. Being Duterte's former top cop, de la Rosa was also the chief enforcer of the former president's brutal campaign against illegal drugs, which landed him on the roster of Duterte administration officials who were accused of crimes against humanity by the families of drug court victims before the International Criminal Court. However, the warrant served by the police on Tuesday at the request of the ICC was only for Duterte. Duterte, accompanied by former Executive Secretary Salvador Midaldia, left on the government charter flight for The Hague on Tuesday night. Inquirer.net reached out to De La Rosa's office on Wednesday asking if the senator is still in the country but has yet to provide any information. The only assurance made by De La Rosa's office is that it would notify the media should information become available. De La Rosa's last public appearance was at Sort Cotabato on March 8. At the Senate, the main office of De La Rosa is locked. Reporters were told that his staff were, for the meantime, reporting at their headquarters in Sampaloc, Manila, to help with the senator's re-election bid. Only a few of his staff remain at his extension office in the Senate, but they claim they also have no idea about De La Rosa's whereabouts. Duterte and De La Rosa had asked the Supreme Court to stop the national government from cooperating with the ICC investigation on the past administration's war against drugs. In a 94-page petition for salutary and prohibition, Duterte and De La Rosa asked the Supreme Court to issue a temporary restraining order and with a preliminary injunction or injunction to prevent the government from assisting the ICC in any way. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Quad Committee may turn over the evidence gathered from its probe into the past administration's drug war if the International Criminal Court issues a subpoena, Alcopico Party List Representative Raul Angalo Bangalon said on Wednesday. In a press briefing at the Batangsang Pampansa complex, Bangalong said the government would have to exercise its discretion on whether to cooperate with ICC requests, given that the country has already rejoined from the Rome Statute. To recall, the Roman Statute is the international agreement that created the ICC. Duterte, when he was still in office in 2018, declared the country's withdrawal from it. Bangalon said, well, for me, considering that we will be expecting a trial soon, and then when we speak of trial, there will be compulsory processes like subpoenas. So if the ICC, International Criminal Court, will issue subpoena, probably the Philippine government or the committee will exercise its discretion whether or not to cooperate or comply with issuance of the subpoena. So I guess if it's a compulsory process, for instance, a subpoena will be issued. Most likely the committee will follow with that subpoena, he added. According to Bongalon, the Philippines may no longer be part of the ICC but still has standing obligations, as the Supreme Court previously said in a decision, to cooperate with the international body if investigations would cover a period before the country's withdrawal. Yes, that's my personal understanding. Even if the Philippines is no longer a party because of the withdrawal, the ICC has already acquired jurisdiction over this case. And as mentioned, the testimonies of the witnesses who appear before this committee investigations are publicly available, he said. But if they really want the testimonies, the official transcript, as well as other pieces of evidence, of course, inherent to the subpoena, probably the committee will comply, he added. Assistant Majority Leader and Tino Party List Representative Judy Edre, on the other hand, said that while they would still defer to the position of the Quad Committee chairpersons, the Supreme Court statements on the matter would be a guide. Edwards said, well, first of all, we would like to defer to the position of the chairpersons of the committee with how to proceed, especially with the release of the official records. But nonetheless, as what have been mentioned by the other branches of the government, the Supreme Court, in affirming to the continuing obligations of our government with regards to matters or issues that have been presented and submitted before 2018, if I am not mistaken, far, as part of our continuing obligations, I think that will be a point of consideration. And the Philippine government should consider rejoining the International Criminal Court to help address ongoing human rights violations in the country, the Human Rights Watch said Wednesday. The Human Rights Watch stated that rejoining the ICC is a step that an increasing number of Filipinos support. The call came after former President Rodrigo Duterte's transfer to the ICC headquarters in The Hague, Netherlands, following his arrest on Tuesday under a warrant issued for crimes against humanity. The Human Rights Watch said in a statement, at a time when the ICC itself is under attack by sub-governments, most recently by U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to sanction the court's prosecutor, the arrest of Duterte and his transfer to the Hague affirms the court's relevance and underscores its significance in ensuring accountability for great crimes. With this, Human Rights Watch Deputy Asia Director Baroni Liu urged President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to take further steps to address human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings and attacks on activists and civil society groups. Liu said President Marcos has begun to chip away at the long-sitting impunity for drug-related killings in the Philippines. He should follow through by rescinding Duterte's orders that unleash the war on drugs and prioritize comprehensive reforms of the Philippine police, she added. The Human Rights Watch also noted the shift in the Philippine government's stance on the ICC probe, pointing out that authorities have toned down their rhetoric on the ICC and expressed willingness to cooperate with the International Criminal Police Organization if an arrest warrant was issued against Duterte. But despite this, the president said on Wednesday that there has been no discussion yet on whether the Philippines would join the ICC. It is now 6:12 p.m. as we will return with more news headlines that care for you right here on koolNews at 6 after the break. Stay along with us, we will be right back. welcome back to Cool News at 6. Let's continue with our headlines. The palace has not yet received official communication regarding any international criminal police organization. Interpol read notice alert for former Philippine National Police Chiefs Oscar Abayade and now Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who are co-accused alongside former President Rodrigo Duterte. On the sidelines of a palace briefing on Wednesday, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro was asked whether red notice alerts had already been issued for Duterte's co-accused in the case related to crimes against liberty during his bloody war on drugs. We haven't received anything so far. We haven't had any official communication yet, she responded. De La Rosa, one of Duterte's most vocal supporters, remained unusually quiet following the latter's arrest on Tuesday morning under a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Duterte was apprehended at the Nino Aquino International Airport upon his arrival from Hong Kong. He was then transferred to Wilmar Air Base, where he stayed for several hours before being sent to The Hague, Netherlands. Meanwhile, Kiko Aquino D., grandson of the late former President Corazon Aquino and Senator Benigno Nino Aquino on Wednesday, said it was not fitting to call for people power in response to the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. D said in a chance interview on Wednesday, "To those calling for people power, please understand well what you're fighting for. If you look at the 1986 People Power, what it stood for was that the people's freedom can never be taken away, that the people's lives can never be taken away. So it's not fitting that that is what they're using." D was a holy mass at the Epispano de los Santos Avenue, or EDSA Shrine, on Wednesday, held in solidarity with families of victims of extrajudicial killings during Duterte's bloody drug war. He said Duterte's supporters calling for people power. Their principles are not firm. Now that suddenly there's trouble, they have to rely on the old identity of people power. They have to rely on the image of people power to argue that to argue the point, the very same image that they cast aside from during the time of Duterte. If I may excuse for a bit, let me just bring up the interview audio. Okay, here is here here is what here is his full statement from Kiko Aquino D.
Well, I think yung paggamit nila ng people power, yung view ko diyan ay yung mga nagsasabi ng ganun, hindi nila ma-argue yung kaso nila eh. Mas nirespeto ko pa yung ganun, parang may hugot yung pagsuporta nila kay Duterte dahil yung kamag-anak nila may nangyayari sa kanila. I don't agree with the decision, pero nirespeto ko naman yung well, I don't agree with the decision, pero at least may sariling argument yun. Yung mga nagsasabi na mag-people power na tayo, ang basa ko dyan kasi wala silang sariling hindi firm yung prinsipyo nila. Kaya kailangan nilang ngayong biglang nagkakagulo, kailangan nilang mag-rely sa dating mga bihis ng people powers. Kailangan nilang mag-rely sa imahen ng people power para ma-argue yung punto nila. Na yun din yung imahe na isinantabi nila nung panahon ni Duterte. So I think yung mga nananawagan ng people power, sana intindihin nyo na talaga ng maayos kung ano yung pinaninindigan nyo. At kung titingnan nyo yung people power, ang pinanindigan niya noon ay na hindi pwedeng bawiin sa taong bayan yung kalayaan, hindi pwedeng bawiin sa taong bayan yung pagpatay ni Marcos Sr., yun yung pinanindigan natin nung panahon ng people power. So, hindi siguro akma na yun yung ginagamit nila. Pero, that being said, I also hope na, ayun, kinikilala ko na divisive time ito sa ating bayan, pero tingin ko hindi mapupunta sa maganda kung meron tayong, kung idadaan nila sa isang kahit anong regime change or anything yung galit nila. Ako naniniwala ako na kung dissatisfied kayo sa gobyerno, dissatisfied din naman ako sa gobyerno for other reasons, sa halalan natin yan dapat ipaglaban. No? So ako, ikakampanya ko yung mga kandidato na consistent sa kanilang paninindigan laban kay President Duterte at consistent din sa kanilang pagtutol sa korupsyon ng Marcos Jr. administration. Kung nais nyong iparating sa administrasyon na kontra kayo sa pagsuporta nila sa ICC, ikampanya yung mga kandidato na ninyo at saka dun natin siguro yun yung mas akmang mensahe para sa gobyerno ngayon.
Around 6,200 deaths related to the drug war were recorded by government sources, but human rights groups placed the death toll at as high as 20,000. And now, let's get into the international headlines. Pope Francis had a quiet night, the Vatican said Wednesday, amid hopes the 88-year-old might be able to return home soon after almost 4 weeks in hospital with pneumonia. The head of the Catholic Church has been in Rome's Gemelli Hospital since February 14 with pneumonia in both lungs, but on Monday, the Vatican indicated that Francis was out of immediate danger and his condition since then has been reported to be stable. The Vatican said in the morning bulletin Wednesday with a medical update expected later. The Pope passed a quiet night. And now let's get into the showbiz. BTS member Jin, webtoon writer and host Kian84, and actress Ji Yoon found themselves situated at a bizarre B&B in the middle of the ocean in the variety show Kian's Bizarre B&B, set for release on April 8. In the teaser on a streaming platform's YouTube channel on Wednesday, March 12, that is in fact Netflix, Kian84 envisioned his dreamlike B&B only for it to be set in the middle of the ocean. The variety star also noted that the guest house didn't have a door on the first floor. Jin and Hee-eun then entered the scene with both of them being confused at what the B&B looked like. The trailer also showed the trio eating with their hands, catching sea animals for food, cleaning the guest house, and other water-related activities. Other clips also featured them interacting with the show staff at some point. The dynamic between Kian84, Jin, and Ji Yoon promises to be a major source of entertainment in Kian's Bizarre B&B. Moreover, the interaction with guests in seeking a romantic getaway is highly anticipated. The healing and thrilling experiences crafted by the trio and their guests are sure to provide both laughter and heartfelt connections, the streaming platform said in the press statement. Jun and Yi-eun were confirmed to join the upcoming reality show in August 2024. And 17th new unit Yoshi Woodsy debuted as a duo with their first single album, Beam, which displays their bond as longtime friends. Hoshi and Woodsy released Beam on Monday, March 10, which contains the tracks Pinocchio featuring So Yo-on, Stupid Idiot, and its title track 96ers, as well as its accompanying music video on the same day. In Beam, a title symbolizing the light that radiates from Hoshi and Woodsy, the duo, and encapsulates the essence of the artistry. Beaming with confidence, originality, and self-love, the two shine in any circumstance, embodying the brilliance that defines them, Douglas Entertainment said in the press statement. Touching on the production of a single album, Yoshi said it is a joint effort showcasing his inseparable bond with Woodsy. He said, "We have long dreamed of working as a unit, and now that we can finally present Beam to the world, I am beyond excited. This album truly reflects the kind of music we want to create, so we're planning to fully enjoy ourselves on stage," he said. Meanwhile, Hoshi said, "The single album is an honest effort that shows a seamless working relationship with Hoshi. He said, "It's an incredible experience to release a new album with my closest friend in life. We had an absolute blast working on it, and I believe that energy is what makes this album so honest and true to us." Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 6:30 p.m. and that is it for Cool News at 6. We will return with more news headlines later with Cool News Prime Time at 10:30 p.m. along with our continued coverage of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's arrest. You can also send us your comments, suggestions, and feedback to our email at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. Until later, fellas, I'm Carlo, and this has been Cool News at 6. And yes, this is it. This is your station. This is home, Cool FM. Good evening.